We set off to ascend in the shadow of another. Good morning. Woke up, got dressed, assembled. It's time to go. They call her not the main character. Akane Shina herself is some popular famous actress, singer, or who knows what else. Well, that's personal. The driver takes her to school not because of arrogance, but for precise safety. You know, there was a time some years ago when she was grabbed by some stalker. What was. Okay, what's past is past. Now, the main concern is the desk neighbor who can't even remember her first and last name. He calls her Sid. And now he's the main one, but it's a secret the hero hides, and no one knows anything about it. And no spoilers will reveal anything. Akane is trouble, just like back then, long ago. She had to walk home alone, and in the alley, she was ambushed. And it's interesting where they took her. And what's worse, what will happen? Okay, nothing will happen because here he is, the bandit Storm, Nikov, one of a kind, a master of martial arts, unstoppable. In the end, congratulations, the antagonists are divided, the victims are saved. It's possible to leave the scene. Luckily, Nishina's father managed to hush everything up in the press. It's like there were no rescuers at all, and nothing happened. Unfortunately, the next day, Gaga called a classmate by a real name and also met face to face with a truck. But that's not a reason to rejoice. Instead of credits, there will be a heartfelt monologue from the hero about how he wanted to be someone or something bigger, really strong, very strong. But against greater strength, he wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway. What to do, how to be, unclear. Now it's clear, the dream has come true, reborn in another world. He even gathered a whole gang of followers. This means the long-awaited, much-desired ascent in the shadow has begun. Important things faded away when a son of some not a noble, not a defense, not a magical global wizard, kind of a Kagan's clan appeared. But then a classic time event happened. A cool and powerful thief attacked a caravan and saved gold. And what do you think? He found some unclear meat porridge. And then Bill, attack, and so on until at one beautiful moment the biomass turned into an elf. They'll call her Alpha. And so that nothing bad happened, the savior didn't think, and he had to make up some nonsense about a secret organization of shadows, about some cult, about some Diablo, not everything yet. Then again, time went by, days, weeks, and now the GG team has been replenished with those very girls you've already seen. Fortunately, the heroes weren't idle, trained in all sorts of magic and battles. I guess they spent time well. Unfortunately, at the most inappropriate moment when Kagan's sister had to go to the capital to take exams, you know what? She was taken in an unknown direction. Luckily, the GG team was ready to rescue her. And incidentally, the marked place on the map turned out to be the actual base of the antagonists. And also, Krishna's opponents actively supported the hero's fabricated delusion about some non-existent cult from a book. But that's not the worst part, because it turned out so well that he was in the right place at the right time and intercepted the fugitive. In short, he got lucky. In other words, goodbye, sister, saved. So it's time for her to say goodbye to her parents, brother, and go to the distant capital big cities. By the way, to the subordinates, alphas, betas, deltas, and other funny, terrible ones. It's time to say goodbye. What do you mean? Where to? How? To Auchin for groceries. Another time event, sorry. And now Gaga himself arrived to study in a big city. It turned out that then he remembered that his helpers left on some mission, looking for some cult. It's easier. Friends understood that they were deceived. Actually, no, but this is a spoiler. About new training, the unfortunate one himself wanted to become a second-tier hero. And as planned, he confessed his love to the most royal beauty of the school so that she would reject him. Unfortunately, a romantic comedy happened instead. Now Alexei and Kagan are lovers. The engagement ceremony didn't happen already. He's already betrothed to someone of the same powerful noble family. By the way, he teaches fencing. The best among the best, thanks to his connections. Now also includes Sid. In short, if you haven't understood yet, Alexei needed someone to annoy the potential husband. And there was such a convenient opportunity. Gigi is ready to be a personal dog for 2 kopecks of gold. Lucky. Of course, it was a good meme, remember? Yes, lucky. Here could have been a date that was nothing more than a stage performance, but instead, there was an important dialogue. Alexei is not understood by anyone, and the elder sister does not recognize him, because she fights terribly about the young one. The same useless style of combat, but that's what his girlfriend likes. These are her best personal qualities. Thanks to them, she's not like the others. In short, individuality. Clearly, by the way, Gigi was not allowed to talk. It means only one thing. Having said too much, he inevitably provoked a rupture of non-existent relations. Unfortunately, a successful way out of the mares will not work. Because, you see, the trouble last night, the princess did not return home. The first and only suspect, obviously. And in fact, this scientist wants to resurrect some demon with the help of royal blood. Good luck. Meanwhile, the unfortunate one continues to play a third rate, not the main hero. He screams, twists, it hurts, help. But in fact, he doesn't care. Also, the older princess worries about the missing sister. And the older sister of Gagu also worries about him. And everyone worries. It's sad and annoying, but the unfortunate one has already been released because interrogations did not yield results. In short, it's time to go rest and at the same time talk to Alpha about how, where, and who is progressing in the search for the perpetrators of various troubles. However, Sid still thinks that childhood friends are playing into his delusion. It would be nice if subscribers on Telegram played into my life too. I say I'm a fool, and he answers something like I'm some Oleg disorder. However, he continues to play his delusion, even dressed in a costume and planning to divide the envious. And what do you think? At one end of the city, there is a massacre in full swing. At the other, the experiment of a genius scientist is ending. Unfortunately, there is no living place for the smart one himself. But Alexei remained alive and unharmed. Now it remains to find a way out. There was this instructor-teacher betrothed. This means he planned and built everything. A Kagan came at the time that a monster emerged in the city. The older princess couldn't do anything, but the alpha that appeared out of nowhere was defeated. Even magical pills didn't help him. All this unfortunate one is very strong but very powerful. That's exactly what he always wanted from childhood, past lives. Congratulations, the family is reunited. The princesses are happy. Everyone is happy. Happily, only thanks to classmates for those positive words about fencing said back then in the train. Alexei also had an offer to continue the theater of romance, or even worse, to start dating for real. But it all ended with a refusal and minor scratches from nicotine. In addition to the positive reports of all dotes, there was some paper with a supposedly cult signature. This means someone is trying to pass themselves off as Shizuki's team. Moreover, tension has arisen in the royal knightly circles regarding some artifact and how unsuccessfully it developed with an instructor who turned out to be a rotten villain. In short, the real stories that you can't keep silent about continue and gain momentum. Next up is meeting with the stumbling Sherry. Great. By the way, she was invited to the academy to study that very artifacts of unclear origin because she is the heiress of the smartest scientists, the smartest smart girl who knows everything. So she agreed to help. By the way, there's another smart wisdom even smarter named Gamma. From all the helpers, as you already understood, the smartest one, thanks to all the accumulated knowledge, managed to develop a whole chocolate empire with $1 billion annual turnover of money. But as the leader learned, he came to inquire about it. Obviously, on the agenda, the question of who is brazenly using the name of the Shadow Clan for night slices is also good. That Gigi already knows who is guilty. Sorry, the suspicion was baseless. In fact, she teared the rotten and just repulsed. Okay. In the end, everything worked out and resolved. The only remaining question is who is a friend for the royal family and who is an enemy. Iris believes that you can trust anyone, even a real original cult, including fights against evil villains. Everyone is guilty, period. As for the chocolate acquired somewhere in between, while everyone was giving candies in vain attempts to get reciprocal feelings, the unfortunate one simply gave the box to the first passerby. And what do you think it turned out? From important according to the latest data, here's that fake cult of shadows. It's just followers of Diablo trying to lure the poor fellow into a trap. Well, okay, let them be. Much more important is the Swordsman tournament, which he decided to turn into a fatal clowning, pretending to lose and supposedly overcoming it again, then losing again, and again, and so on. As a result, the judge was disqualified because enough is enough. It's time to rest. Sorry, another meeting in line, Sherry here, in honor of this gift cookie. And here's another father. Judging by his position, there's definitely no way to contact him. That's how it is. You can break out of the role of a minor character. From the good news, Sherry found out that Alexis Skavina are no longer meeting, and everything that was before was just a setup. Well, that's good. Great. It means everyone is free. Everything is fine. From the bad news, Lexi Rada blocked some artifact preventing the use of magic. Sadly, no one except the protagonist understood it. And then it's too late. The academy is under control. Resistance is futile and meaningless. Nothing will come of it. It won't work. There's no point in being sad. Young man took a hit. Well done. But if he had switched a route using the link in the description, he would have been the coolest of all. But now, when everyone has dispersed, one can finally go get treated and figure out how to deal with the enemies. Yes, there's no need to think. Since powerful monoflows are blocked, you can just settle somewhere up high and methodically shoot everyone one by one. You can just go out in the open because wearing a dark cloak is trendy and stylish. Otherwise, it would be cringy to dress in light during the day. And what came out of it, you can see everyone. Sherry proceeded importantly to her father's office in search of something crucial. Along the way, thanks to the unfortunate guy, there were 0 incidents. Since he assisted to the best of his ability, it was time for a lecture on magical artifacts. Among them was a peculiar ball, blocking all sorcery except that which was permitted by its owner settings and parameters. This explained why opponents could use magic. If all students gathered in the assembly hall, the objective was to quickly charge the item with someone else's power so it could deliver its intended impact. Fortunately, this other meme could even block greater potential cringe. Gigi had already divided everyone, settling even the second shade, and gathered the necessary remedies for activating the amusing ball, which was indeed hilarious. Now, under the twilight night, essential preparations were complete, with 2 inscribed runes ready. Just then, a flashback occurred involving Sherry's mother being severed, followed by the appearance of the one who would become the father. And everything, I don't even recognize myself anymore. This should have been just a memory. By the way, the lock is now unlocked. What's more important is that all pieces are finally in place along with the main piece. So, this is now, and then this is now. Will justice be served or not? You see, everyone burns and smokes and fades away, right? Flashback. That's all it took to reveal who was responsible for what happened. That same grandfather who was the father, the adopted one, the one who shared the mother's desire for more and more power. Research was required exclusively as a springboard. In a word, cringe. On the other hand, there was slaughter. Fortunately, the main character remains the main character, still very strong, cool, powerful, invincible, unmatched in the end, minus the grandfather's daughter, although she never fully grasped all these twists of guilt. Okay, maybe one day she will. Not in vain, she leaves to study somewhere far beyond the significant blame for all sins and troubles, hung up on the cult in the shadows. Although it doesn't matter, sorry, Alexei needs shopping, ruler for a long journey. Not all purchases were part of the original plan, but where there's none, there's yes. Yes, the romantic comedy Skyward Rose has fallen completely in love with the savior. She even requested accompaniment, although no one called her from the old vow. She also found success writing books on stories and retellings from memory. Gigi, however, only received waste paper instead of an autograph. What did you think? Details of another new mission are emerging. Naturally, according to tradition, no one knows and no one will say. Attention is drawn to hot sources. Moreover, why were Kagan and Alexia in the same city, at the same place, and at the same time? The legendary tournament is about to begin, where each warrior can challenge supernatural forces. Fortunately, the princess and her companions arrive not for this. They have their own tasks, cares, and troubles. Alexia risks ending her journey without starting it due to lack of help in investigating the previous archbishop's problems, now faced by the current Holy One. There's no time for meaningless trials or investigations. The tournament has already begun, and pleasing the spectators is a priority. One must not forget to closely monitor the writer next door, who also took an interest in the princess for her own reasons, involving guilt and fatal envy. Meanwhile, the Holy One pressed a button, and the base of a very powerful test began. In theory, each participant can provoke the appearance of a powerful magical spirit. In practice, no one has managed to face a minor opponent when suddenly the next participant, Sid Kajina, a golem who didn't apply for participation, appeared before the crowd in the guise of a shadow. However, Gigi faced a worthy opponent on the field, an ancient, unknown witch. Fortunately, a single blow was enough to seal her, breaking a drawn rune and awakening dark forces. As dawn breaks, the tournament itself concludes. Everyone disperses, albeit some must remain due to Gigi's subordinate arriving, ensuring no one leaves. The boss advances towards the mysterious door, while the Holy Ones had different plans and have already scattered, leaving with their strongest and most agile subordinate in pieces. Now, everyone heads straight to the portal, led by a powerful hand in some sharpened direction, with a dubious heroine and an outfit that's a mirror image of heroines. In short, it's time to go where no one knows. Grimace didn't know either, but he arrived straight in the White Room, where a patient is already under observation, the defeated witch, locked away for 1,000 years, unable to escape. Teams must join forces, helping each other find a way out as they walk through memories, lecture, and tell each other about the terrible experiments of Diablo's cultists. They found a child compatible with forbidden sorcery, forcing the heroic heroine into battle. The holy researcher was no longer there. Only the miraculously surviving old one remained, ensuring a slaughter while the old and young danced through time. Back with the poor guys and the witch wandering through memories, the most annoying thing is the undead, eager to attack the viewers. Unexpected guests should leave bit by bit, as statistics articles are divided and a new level opens. Now, understanding and realizing how to break the chains holding the locked door is necessary. Nearby, a sword meant for someone else waits. Subordinates have already gathered all the information, completing the calculations. It's time to return home. Bid farewell to the rotten grandfather until next time. The final, irrevocable fight awaits, where knowledge is power and unknowing is not. Why did the Holy One awaken the statue of the heroic heroine with no one left to fight? Everyone has departed, but the sword's absence means more awaits, perhaps a short-term slaughter. Enough said. Cries are unnecessary. Someone took a hit on the head. Everything is ready. Just let go the pooey and the unhappy are unnecessary. And yes, he has a gleam in his eye. Now, something will happen. Something about victories, or rather plots. Then Goremish didn't win. Ask how he will cope with an odd number of copies after one successfully chewed through neck. Don't ask. It was all about accumulating energy for a long time, just to then release everything at once in one big beam. Which, by the way, everything ended. Well, it means freed, dissolved, then. Okay, sorry, continuing. 3 weak observers formed an alliance to learn more about what happened. So Alexia, Rose, and Better. Well, this is supposed to be a strong one, but no one knows who hides under the guise. Writers, here's something important. The heroic heroine is actually also a demon of the devil. How did it happen? I don't know. It's just a fact. Now live with it. From the important, at Gamma there's another financial deal. Land is bought in the poorest district where no one knows what's underground. Oil deposits, true. How do they even know about oil here? Again, no one knows. From the clinch of sisters on princesses discuss what to do next. Nothing. Father at the king ordered to be silent while the boat is floating. It's better not to swing, especially since there will be important state meetings soon, so rest. From the cliffhangers of Rose Hert's solar plexus, for reasons, they're really some plexus. Funny, from the new asking again, sorry, another tournament now means profit not just only at all, everything from all corners of the world, especially GG grandiose plan in the upcoming delirium to win anyone, not just show demonstrative weakness, right. For this it was necessary to make a magical plastic operation, but now Gora Michelin is visually walking weakness. Even on the street, passers-by advised to refuse participation in dangerous battles. Save yourself. In the end, managed to get hit in the face for free. A long time felt what pain. Also Rose impressed, probably from the sad. Along the way to the square Rose is formed seemed like what is the problem? Yes, so trouble at the scheduled meeting soon. The father will introduce her to the groom. Okay, meanwhile the qualifying fights are in full swing. And while the young friend has a new interlocutor, Gaga quietly walked away for a couple of minutes, as you need to appear in the ring with the corresponding camouflage. Judging by the preliminary bets, hunch, no one knows who will lose. The probability is about 100% to win. Of course, congratulations. The next morning, unfortunately, Bad Rose remembered the meeting was scheduled, the groom's all affairs, so the groom cut himself, escaped. More help, of course, is going to, but not in a hurry. You need to think over, discuss this rebel as a princess from another kingdom educated on exchange, because who knows what, where, whom. Yes, exactly, the plot is not standing in place. So on the way to the road, another 60 met an elf, right, so right, collision otherwise. But who would like their similar external relatives encountered? Crosswise didn't look for the young, nobody knew him at all, no one, in no way. Hello, it's time to look at my legendary golden hero who still hasn't lost anyone because he didn't even fight with those who won someone. It's a pity this time opponents got a hunch. Observing what one Rose in shock, she imagined, noticed, heard how weakness, the most needed in time moment, intentionally turned his neck to dodge a blow companion in the form of a closet. Also surprised after all, no way, and not happens untrue. Everything is clearly a coincidence. Gora Michelin sneezed. Be healthy. The fight won in the lakes defeated Lucky. It's the main tournament grid nearby. In the meeting with Samir was she applies that so that the hunch knew that everyone saw, noticed every movement track, and her such tricks can't win, won't deceive, not worth empty talk. So she also knew everything all this time. Poor fellow wore armor weighing plus minus uranium. So jokes goodbye ended with time. Rose still broke somewhere, runs visibly training that until the next morning. Again an unexpected friend, now more interesting, productive for the head fugitive declared. Glad means it's time to go. Deal not waiting. In fact, Sid just didn't want to fall into eyes. Older sister of annoying. Yet another subordinate achieved success and fame thanks to plagiarism of what the young man remembered from a past life. He's now a composer, pianist, and generally recognized by the world musical community. Genius. Congratulations. But don't forget about the main goal, central goal, find the missing Rose already girlfriend. Going down to the same underground labyrinth where theoretically a victim should be means the right time to show a flashback. If shortly the princess is not to blame, wanted as better, another court advisor hypnotized the king, and now About the structure, haven't heard? In short, it turned out great. The image of a participant must be perfect now, so it's time to step away briefly. Along the way, you might meet some pointy-eared ones and exchange a couple of meaningless phrases. Goodbye for now. As for something crucial, the long-awaited fight. So, Dark Horse effortlessly defeated the festival's favorite. It's like step left, step right, step straight back, and all easier. The next victory is on the horizon. There should be an arrest, but for now, there's only a stuffy dialogue of a rotten advisor about how his plans are ruined by some unknown tournament participant, but definitely not connected to the Shadow Clan. No, definitely not connected. Out of gratitude, thanks from Anna Rose for the recent fight showed her a lot, taught her a lot until mastering Sutulov still grows and grows. Out of ingratitude, Eris, ungrateful, refused Beatrix's bun offered, although she herself chased a Zelphic and wanted to learn something and ask. Flashbacks of an ungrateful princess won't happen, and I skipped everything you need to know. She's all like, wants to come. The planet never lets her go anywhere because the royal district is hell. As for planned gatherings in the zone for IP viewers, it turns out that Beatrice also arrived there perfectly by invitation of the princess. There won't be any grand conversations. Another skip there, you see. Again, this advisor was thinking something, pondered, processed how to seize all available power, and what's the point? Who doesn't care? Everyone gathered to watch the most important final fight in which Iris herself participates. Talcayut's fans scream. Everyone wants to see Brid and spectacle. If you look at the situation from the side, it looks like her head flew off her shoulders. No, sorry, it seemed. But the essence is that the poor thing seems miracles form around her. All the time lethal blows are to blame in everything. Of course, the overwhelming aura of Sutulov. But you can't be afraid like that, backed into a corner, and everyone waits for Brid. So you need rage, anger, overcoming. Here's another vision with a ball, then in the hands, then the demon. And Iris herself was left without weapons. But then the rain started, and more importantly, the others came, didn't light up. The rose appeared unexpectedly. No one expected it. She took the outcome, pierced her father, then herself. No, sorry, I apologize. Here he is suddenly the savior, the helper, the main unknown Sutul's hero. I apologize again. Rose knew him and remembered him all this time. It's the same cringe with a bag on his head once saved her. In a word, coincidence. Another word, Beatrice, for some reason, decided to stand up rottenly. The output was another massacre, true. Beatrix rushes after the movements where and how he moves. Notice not even rain. Understand, walk slower. But nothing is lost because the fight takes on the helper of Iris. Here she even took with her a wonderful magic sword. Sorry, besides cheap fire effects, the artifact does not stand out. But the weapon not only stands out, but also effectively actively counteracts any attacks. Yes, by the end of the season, finally remembered about tricks and techniques. What yes, deserted through her own fault, Rose still warmed with hope and the salvation of her own state. So now she has exactly two ways, either to remain nobody, we achieved nothing, we already lost everything, or to prove your worth like a unit and join the clan shadows. And then we'll see, with a solid proposal congratulating with the retreat in the atom.